All right, so I wanted to cover Krumboltz learning theory of career counseling. And it's kind of been shifted and adapted some, and he later in life termed it the happenstance theory as well. So we're going to talk about both of those, kind of his theoretical approach to career counseling, and it evolved over time. So Krumbolt's learning theory of career counseling is a social cognitive theory. It's one of the very first social learning theories of career counseling. So it's kind of where it fits in the umbrella of different career counseling theories. It was proposed in 1975. Originally termed the learning theory of career counseling. It's much more commonly known as happenstance approach or happenstance theory. It's very much related to chaos theory as well and the butterfly effect. So those sorts of things are kind of all influencing this theoretical approach to career counseling, if you're familiar with those. Basically, the premise is that life events are going to impact our career selection. So things that we don't necessarily control is a big piece of this too, that there's just things that are going to happen that are going to give us experiences, and those experiences and the feedback we get from those experiences are going to help inform our career decisions. And that is very true of most learning theories, social learning theories, and social cognitive career counseling as well. So the happenstance approach is basically that chance events that we do not control, that we may not be able to plan for very well, have both positive and negative impacts on our career path. So career development includes these four pieces, these four factors. That's your genetic inherited traits, right? So that could be IQ, that could be emotional, mental health sort of things, physical disabilities, special, things like that. And those can primarily limit or limit our career choices, our learning experiences, those things over time. So depending kind of on what genetics we get, may impact the way we go about our career path. Environmental conditions and events are also factors in our career choices and our career path. So that's that social learning, the society around us, our social economic status, discrimination, those sorts of things that are kind of environmental conditions and influences. COVID might be another environmental condition, right? These things that happen that shift and change our career path. And then those learning experiences, those are those experiences that we have in performing a task, and we get our feedback kind of from that, whether we're being successful or not. These can be instrumental and associative, so that could be learning experiences through like watching role models or mentors and saying, I'm kind of like them, I could do that same career. Or it could be more instrumentally the learning experiences that you're experiencing yourself. So you take a math class and you do really well, the teacher says you're great at math, right? Those sorts of feedback loops as you learn and as you experience things will impact the way that you choose to pattern your life in that career task. Our task approach skills, so those are oftentimes how we plan, organize, how we cope with things. So we'll talk a little bit more about those as we go through what might a client need as we apply this theory. So again, learning experiences are big in the learning theory of career counseling. They are the primary influences on our career selection. They include those generalized perceived experiences of ourself and our task performance, right? So that fits a lot with that self-efficacy piece of Bandura's work as well. So it's very similar to that self-efficacy sort of beliefs. So it's our perceived experiences of ourself, our perceived input as well from others and from the tasks that we're performing, our affective states and things like that we learn whether or not this is a task that we're performing well, we can succeed at, those sorts of things. Or if it's negative, right, that we don't want to do that because we're getting these negative experiences or negative feedback. The coping skills is just that piece of coping with different difficulties, different challenges, barriers, and how we approach that. And those are key as well in influencing the career choice that we make. Career entry behavior is basically how you go about approaching that career decision and job seeking. So That might be something that you learn through models. So maybe if you have parents who've gone into higher education, then you may be thinking you go to college, right? So it's that career entry behavior and how you learn that. You can learn that vicariously. You can learn that yourself as you experience those things. As you apply for jobs, right? That's just how you're going to go about doing those. That may lead to a different career choice or a career choice of your preferred path. So again, it's focusing on learning experiences and how that impacts choice, occupational choice or career choice. It also focuses on career decision making and believes that's like a key skill that you develop over a lifespan. And oftentimes this concept of making one specific career choice is not necessarily the way that this is going to be playing out. You're going to make many different career decisions. So it may be, do I go for this rank advancement? Do I take this other position over here to learn new skills there, right? So that career decision making is a huge skill in order to follow the path that in whatever direction you want to go there. So the path may not be linear, right? You may change careers, you may other things, but it's that decision making that you need to go through over and over again as environments change, as tasks change, as you change and you're in a different developmental stage, right? So you're going to make lots of decisions, and it's a skill that you're wanting to help your clients develop. There's lots of factors that influence your preference, cognitive processes, your environment. Those are kind of things, how you're seeing yourself, how you see careers, right? Yourself in careers. That cognitive map is really important. And then the interactions with environment, others, society, and then your inherited internal traits, right? Your personal characteristics, your personality, your values, your abilities, IQ, emotional intelligence, people skills, those sorts of things that come from you. It also emphasizes educational and occupational preferences through direct feedback loops, basically. So again, it's what experiences are you receiving from that particular task? Is someone complimenting you? Did you feel like you were successful at that task? And then you're going to choose based on that feedback loop of whether or not you felt like you were successful, and then you believe you can do it again, or you do more or gain more, a higher level of achievement in that particular category or in that particular field. So the role of a counselor in the learning theory of career counseling is basically identifying how those cognitive maps were formed, how our beliefs about ourselves and careers were formed, and maybe probe some assumptions that might be faulty, right? And explore alternative beliefs if those are some faulty beliefs. So maybe they were kind of shied away from certain careers because they're gender-based and girls don't do math, that's not okay, right? So they were told this negative thing, and maybe they narrowed their choice unnecessarily, even though they're good at math, right? So it's that piece of faulty assumptions or faulty cognitions that are based upon feedback loops, and that you can challenge with your clients. And then assisting them to understand the validity of their beliefs, or to challenge that, and to understand kind of fully their options and their assist them in making that career choice, right? Krumboltz learning theory talks about like your perspective of your clients, basically, that career decision making is a skill. Individuals just need help in that career choice, that even individuals who have made a clear choice may also need help because they may have based it on inaccurate cognitive maps, right? Inaccurate learning feedback loops, right? So they may have unnecessarily chosen a faulty path because they based it on faulty information, faulty perceptions. So it's again, looking at that, how did they learn that? Where did that faulty logic come from, basically? And if that's what you're finding in your client. And then success is measured by the skills in decision making, so their ability to make realistic decisions based upon what they know of themselves, right? So that self-perception is really important. That self-awareness is important. And then their information of those careers, right? So they need that information of themselves and they need information on careers in order to make good decisions. So it's understanding that and helping them develop those skills. Also that clients are diverse, so there's going to be lots of different diverse possibly approaches to this, and that we need to take into account the uniqueness of clients. And then also, this is a big part of this, is that there's no shame in being uncertain in your choice. So they don't have like this concept that one occupation is the one occupation for each individual, and it's okay to just not be quite sure. That is really part of learning process, right? So we may need to test things out and experiment things. That's the learning sort of piece of this, that it's okay, maybe you haven't experienced, you don't know. So there's some pieces of like encouraging them possibly to job shadow or volunteer so that they can test out some different career choices. The role of the client is basically, you see them as exploring and experimenting, like I said, trying things out, testing it out. So they need to be empowered in order to do that. I always talk about clients stepping outside of their comfort zone, and that's really uncomfortable to do. So I talk about that a lot. Here's your comfort zone. If you don't step out of it, it's going to shrink. And if you do step out of it, you can grow your comfort zone. But if you don't make yourself a little bit anxious, a little bit uncomfortable, you will probably end up shrinking your comfort zone to a very small thing. So we talk about that a lot in counseling, and like just trying things out, just testing it out. I also talk about how to do that in low risk situations. So that volunteering is one of those low risk situations. You're not going to get too much trouble of getting fired if you're volunteering. You do a job shadow with somebody so you can test it out. Interviewing somebody that's in that field, or speaking with somebody about their experience of that field is really helpful. So those sorts of projects can be really helpful. Homework assignments to give to clients. The other thing is building support and encouragement around them. So helping them find their social support system or building that up, like getting a mentor, helping them, network can be helpful as far as that goes as well. So it's encouraging them to kind of build that support. And then you also are an encourager for them to try and test new things. All right, so we're going to shift to the happenstance approach theory. And this is kind of a spinoff. Krumboltz helped him and some colleagues kind of created this together. So this is a little bit later, theory 1999. They come up with this. So it evolved from the learning theory. So this is basically the idea that there's these chance events that happen over your lifespan that can shift your path. Positive and negative consequences, they may shift your path completely. So you may just have a job land in your lap, right? Or your job you might get fired, or COVID happens and you suddenly don't have a job because it doesn't exist anymore, right? So there's these chance events that just happen in our environment. They're unpredictable. They're social factors that may happen, environmental conditions that may change. And these are important influences in our lives that we will have to shift. So it's that adaptability, that uncertainty, and embracing that. So the overarching goal is to just empower your clients and to help them embrace that change is going to happen and accept that change is going to happen, and be prepared to take those as learning experiences, as a chance to learn different skills, right? It's kind of having a positive spin on crisis in a way. So it's that idea that you could definitely be very anxious and stressed and whatnot with these unexpected events that come up, or you can take it as this is an opportunity to learn something different, an opportunity to grow as I'm challenged, right? So it's that coping skills that you're going to want to develop, and that mindset that change is inevitable and change is good. That means we're going to grow as we step out of our comfort zone, right? We're forced out of the comfort zone. The other piece of this is to be open to that experience, open doors, right? So if an opportunity comes your way, to take it, say yes, and go for it, right? So these are 5 critical client skills that you're trying to build within your client. And that one's curiosity, right? The idea of just checking things out, trying new things, going to different trainings. Persistence, persisting at something even though it may be difficult or hard. Flexibility, again, like I said, accepting that a possibility that you're going to have to shift and change, and you're going to have to grow with that. Optimism, facing that crisis, that unexpected event, maybe that negative event in a way that helps you reframe it so you can use those coping strategies and skills to navigate it. And then that risk taking. If somebody says, hey, you want to do this project with me? Yeah, right. That idea that they're just going to jump at any opportunity to learn and to grow and to learn new things and to further your path. So your path may not look linear because you're taking any open door that comes to you, basically, right? Is the idea. Clients' role in this is to expand their capabilities and interests, right? So I'm saying we want to broaden what they're experiencing in life so that they're more capable and more skilled, and to have them expect and prepare for changing work tasks. So it's just inevitable that your job is going to change, so you're going to have to adapt, and that you may want it to change. You may get promoted, you may move positions. COVID may put all the counselors in telehealth, right? So there may be these things that shift your work tasks a lot, and you need to just prepare and to know how to handle it, to learn, okay, I need to go get another skill set. I need to go get some training here because this thing shifted. And the other big piece of this is that clients are going to deal with lots of career issues, not just choosing a career. So there's a lot of tasks within this career path that they may need to help a counselor for help with, and it's very much attached to life satisfaction and mental health. And so that's a big piece of this as well, that career choices are not the only thing we're working on in this theory. So counselor's role is, again, assisting those clients with all those different career related issues and struggles that they may have, whether that's like preparing for retirement, preparing for a promotion, getting demoted or shifted or whatever around in your company. Those different changes, any of those things that could shift us out of our comfort zone are things that clients may need our assistance with, right? And many theorists that use a happenstance approach and who embrace this idea believe that career counseling and personal or mental health counseling are basically need to be integrated because they're so interconnected. Right. So that is Krumboltz social learning or learning theory of career counseling and the happenstance approach to this career counseling. So it is very much based on the experiences that we're going to have in life and how that's going to change our path. That feedback loop of whether we're successful or not is really going to shift things. So it's very similar to the social learning theory. This one's just going to be helping your client embrace uncertainty and anxiety and shifting and changing a lot, because that's going to continue. It's that concept of continual growth means continual change and continual challenge, right? And then kind of embracing that and helping them frame that in a positive way as well. So this is kind of Krumboltz's approach to career counseling. There's some videos out there that he talks about his own theories. So that I'm going to post some of them as well. So you want to go ahead and watch those.